Stewie Griffin stands in the ashes of a timeline that never existed. His tiny hands clutch a device still humming with cosmic energy. Moments ago, he watched an entire universe vanish in a blinding paradox, and yet he remembers it all. The sky above Quahog looks normal now, like nothing ever happened. But in Stewie's eyes, there's a flicker of trauma from a world erased.
Saddam Hussein could be president. Mexico could be the world's dominant superpower. Cookie Monster could have invented Facebook.
A 1-year-old baby recounts events no one else recalls, events that technically never occurred. How is this possible? How can an infant brain hold infinite recall of realities that have been wiped from existence? Stewie's first possible secret is science. His time machine isn't just a flashy sci-fi toy, it might literally shield him from changes in reality. Picture the Family Guy episode, Back to the Pilot. Stewie and Brian travel back to 1999 to retrieve a lost tennis ball, but a casual meddling creates a nightmare future. Brian prevents 9/11, unleashing chaos.
Brian, what the hell did you do?
I may have told my former self about 9/11.
They scramble to fix it amid dozens of future Stewies and Brians converging in a timeline pileup. Ultimately, they let history run its course. 9/11 happens to save reality. When they finally restore their original timeline, something bizarre happens. Stewie and Brian still remember the alternate history. Think about that. A version of Brian became a national hero in an erased timeline, and Stewie watched multiple versions of himself blink out of existence. Yet our Stewie carries all those memories back home. The leading theory? The time machine's exotic field, tachyons, quantum mumbo-jumbo, makes its user immune to timeline changes.
Now, we're going to do what we should have done in the first place. Get on.
Essentially, while the universe reboots, Stewie's brain is shielded. It's like he's watching the world on DVR. He can rewind the show to an earlier point, but he doesn't forget the part he already watched. Even the time machine itself seems wrapped in this protective bubble. In Yug Ilimov, the episode where Brian breaks the time machine and causes time to flow in reverse, the machine astonishingly doesn't uninvent itself as history rewinds. We see time go backwards, people talk in reverse, broken objects reassemble, even an entire barf scene plays backward for laughs.
I don't want.
Stewie's body grows younger, he hurtles toward being unborn, but he never loses his mind.
If we don't find a way to push time forward again soon, I too shall be unborn.
He's talking and scheming right up until -9 months old. The machine remains intact through it all, as if untouched by the temporal reset. That makes zero sense, unless something about Stewie and his tech is insulated from timeline erasure. In other words, Stewie's inventions may generate a chrono-immunity field around him. Come on, it's just cartoon logic. Family Guy isn't exactly known for physics lectures. Skeptics might snort. In a comedy where Peter can bang his knee and howl for a full minute, who expects consistent time travel rules? But consider this, the show itself has hinted at an internal logic. The fact that Stewie and Brian explicitly remember an undone timeline is acknowledged in dialogue.
Stewie, what the hell was that? Those were ripples in time, Brian, emanating from some point in the past.
It's canon. That's not a one-off gag, it's a plot point. And in Yug Ilimov, characters notice how absurd it is that Stewie remains cognizant while everything else rewinds. Family Guy may be goofy, but it deliberately showed us Stewie's immunity. This isn't just lazy writing, it's a clue. Stewie built a time machine that protects him from the very reality-altering effects it creates. Science shields his memories. Yet a nagging question remains. If technology is protecting Stewie's mind, why does he alone grasp the truth of undone events? The Griffin family sits comfortably ignorant back in their reset reality, never the wiser. Case in point, when normal time resumes after the chaos of Back to the Pilot, Lois just goes about her day, oblivious that her baby boy literally just saved the universe. Stewie doesn't even try to explain. Who'd believe a baby babbling about fixing the timeline? He simply smirks and carries the secret himself. Is Stewie simply a shielded observer? Or is he becoming something more, something outside of time altogether? What if Stewie remembers because he's not fully inside the story to begin with? Here's a mind bender. Stewie Griffin just might know he's a cartoon character. Sound crazy? The evidence hides in plain sight, often as throwaway jokes. In Road to the Multiverse, Stewie and Brian hop through universes where anything goes. Disney musical worlds, post-apocalyptic wastelands, you name it. Stewie takes it all in stride, even the horrific sight of Mayor McCheese getting assassinated like JFK and then devoured by Jackie in one dark universe. A normal toddler would be traumatized, but Stewie quips and wisecracks as if he expected the absurdity.
That joke's not in bad taste, right?
Oh, who cares? He's a cheeseburger.
Why? Because on some level, he knows he's in a TV show multiverse. He even breaks the fourth wall outright. In one timeline-hopping adventure, Stewie turns to Meg and scoffs. "Oh my god, you're Lacey Chabert," casually naming the actress who originally voiced Meg.
Oh my god, we're getting closer to the beginning! You're Lacey Chabert!
That's not just a meta joke. That's Stewie flexing an awareness of Family Guy's real-world continuity. If Stewie truly has this meta-awareness, he effectively stands outside the normal continuity. He's like an actor who has read the script of his own life. Erase timeline, he still has the script pages in his memory. This explains why he alone might remember events that never happened, because to him, they did happen, just in an episode or a cutaway that he knows he's part of. Stewie is the one character who consistently notices when things are off. Remember when Lois said, "It's Stewie's first Christmas," and Stewie deadpanned again.
It's Stewie's first Christmas.
Again?
He's fully aware he's been 1 year old through multiple Christmases and that something is fishy. He even claims to have all of his and Brian's past adventures on DVD. Imagine a character in a show literally owning the DVDs of his own show. Stewie lives in on the joke that time in Quahog is practically frozen. Perhaps the most striking example is the episode Send in Stewie Please. We got an unprecedented peek into Stewie's psyche, a full therapy session with a child psychologist, voiced by Sir Ian McKellen no less, and zero cutaway gags.
So, is that me over there?
If you like.
Here we go.
It felt like a bottle episode on a stage outside the usual Family Guy universe. By the end, Stewie's therapist, Dr. Cecil Pritchfield, dies of a heart attack right after uncovering Stewie's deepest insecurities. No one else ever finds out what Stewie confessed in that room. The show even lampshades it. This was a one-time experiment, never to be spoken of again. Was it all a dream? The episode teases that it may have been a dream or a memory. Either way, only Stewie, and we the viewers, retain it. It's as if Stewie can have experiences completely isolated from the rest of his world. Hallmarks of meta-awareness. He's practically winking at us through the fourth wall, operating on a different level of reality than his family. Some fans wave this off. Those meta moments are just jokes, not meant to be taken seriously. Stewie's not literally Deadpooling through the fourth wall. Sure, Family Guy cracks meta jokes for fun, but Stewie is consistently the source of them. He's the one calling out when a scene doesn't make sense, or when the show references an earlier season or a production quirk. It's not random, it's a character trait. The writers chose Stewie to be the medium-aware one. If he knows he's in a TV show, then of course he remembers alternate endings and bizarre resets. To him, they're like bonus footage, not erased reality. This theory paints Stewie as a pint-sized Deadpool or a cosmic observer of his own show. It explains how he sidesteps amnesia, but it doesn't address the toll it takes on him. Meta or not, those memories are real to him. And that leads to a darker possibility. Could the timelines themselves be leaving scars on Stewie's soul? Every action has consequences, even the actions you erase. Perhaps Stewie never forgets a timeline because the universe won't let him. The concept of residual paradox suggests that when Stewie alters reality, faint echoes of the discarded timeline cling to him, the instigator. Imagine each timeline as a song. When Stewie stops the record and skips back, a final note hangs in the air. He alone can hear that note.
Merry Christmas, Brian.
In Family Guy's wild continuity, we've seen reality snap back like a rubber band after insane events. Brian and Stewie have died and then turned up fine later. Cities have blown up and then been miraculously intact the next week. Nobody else ever seems to remember. Nobody ages. Nobody grieves for long. As one fan theory put it, all those over-the-top gags where Peter walks away unharmed from what should have been a fatal accident, those aren't just gags, they're echoes from timelines Stewie ditched to spare his loved ones. In other words, Stewie might be quietly resetting catastrophic events, and only he retains the memory of each catastrophe. The rest of Quahog goes on like it never happened. Characters who never time travel, say Lois or Joe, act like everything's normal no matter how insane things get, with no recollection of the crazy things that occurred. They're blissfully unaware, living in ignorant continuity. But Stewie, the one fiddling with the cosmic remote control, is condemned to remember everything. This residual paradox idea turns Stewie's gift into a curse. Sure, he's effectively a god of his timeline, an infant with power over life, death, and existence. But think of the weight he carries alone. take the emotional gut punch from back to the pilot. Alternate Brian and Stewie had to accept letting thousands of people die, reversing Brian's heroic prevention of 9/11 in order to fix history.
We did it, Brian. We made 9/11 happen. High five!
All right, high five!
Stewie watched his alternate selves agree to be erased for the greater good, then saw them disappear one by one. That happened in a blink to everyone else, but Stewie remembers every painful second. Or consider the season 12 arc when Brian died after being hit by a car. Stewie was devastated. For 2 whole episodes, he mourned his best friend. Then he literally rebuilt his time machine from scratch to save Brian's life, pulling Brian out of the past and preventing the accident. The timeline healed, Brian was alive again, and the family went on as if nothing ever happened. But Stewie can't forget the sight of Brian dying in his arms on that street. That trauma lives in him, even if history erased it. He carries the burden of grief that technically never occurred. Even smaller scale do-overs leave a mark. In Road to the Multiverse, Stewie's evil doppelganger tries to trap him and Brian in an alternate world. Our Stewie outsmarts him and strands that evil Stewie in a collapsing universe. It's a throwaway victory in a comedic episode, but think about it. Stewie essentially murdered his alternate self to save his family. Does he joke about it afterward? Sure, in classic Stewie fashion with a sly one-liner. But those quips are whistling past the graveyard. The memory of what he's done is there, tucked behind the sarcasm. And in Send in Stewie Please, Stewie experiences a deeply personal breakthrough and breakdown with his therapist, then walks back into the regular Griffin living room as if nothing happened. Except he's the only one who knows that huge emotional catharsis took place. By the next episode, the Griffin household resets to business as usual, but Stewie still remembers Dr. Pritchfield's final moments and the secrets he admitted in that office. It's telling that Stewie has evolved over the years while his family largely stands still. The once matricidal baby who only wanted to kill Lois has grown into a more introspective, emotionally nuanced child by later seasons. Perhaps that's because he remembers everything. All those branching timelines and lessons learned stay with him, shaping his character in ways the rest of the Griffin family, stuck in their reset loops, never experience. Stewie alone carries an internal history that goes far beyond the static 1 year of his life. So why does Stewie never forget a timeline? Because he literally can't. The show's universe seems built that way. Chrono immunity might protect his mind, and meta-awareness might let him step outside the narrative, but these paradox echoes ensure he still feels the outcomes of every road not taken. He's like the lone witness to the crimes of time. Stewie's memory is a living library of branching paths. Every mistake he undid, every adventure he rewound, every dark future he averted. He remembers them all so we don't have to. It's the paradox of the time traveler. To everyone else, it's as if none of it happened. To Stewie, it was all painfully real. He bears the burden of those erased realities so that everyone else can live in ignorant bliss. Now we have 3 compelling explanations: technological immunity, fourth wall awareness, and lingering paradox echoes. Perhaps the truth is a cocktail of all 3. Stewie Griffin might just be that unique, a boy genius with 1 foot in the quantum realm and 1 foot outside the narrative, cursed and blessed to recall every universe he touches. But that raises one final chilling question. If you can never forget the timelines you break, how long before that weight becomes too much for a 1-year-old to bear? Stuart Gilligan Griffin will never forget a timeline because he lives at the nexus of them all. He alone can bear that burden, and that makes him more than just an evil baby genius. It makes him the sole witness to his universe's every possible reality.